check it later on when your season, alright. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to this first edition of SportsView on Lair Media YouTube channel. We have a new channel set up appropriate enough, and it's called SportsView. You can just see it there over my head. We have an email as well, info@lairmedia.tv for the SportsView. And we'll be out live on StreamYard, and it's a new streaming service. And well, we've checked around a lot, and we believe that it's quite a good one. Now, we want to make this eventually an interactive show for anybody who's interested in all things sport. And as you know, this is Tuesday, the 15th of June, and it's 9 p.m. Irish time here in the Republic of Ireland. And as we know, the Nations League football and soccer matches are going on as we speak. And we'll bring you updates from them. The last time I looked, obviously in the Nations League, Hungary were beating England 1-0. Germany were 2-0 up on Italy. And what else? The Republic of Ireland, of course, after half-time were 1-0 up in Ukraine, and that match is being played over in Poland for obvious reasons. Scotland's match is over, and they had a good win over Armenia. They're now Group 4-1. So they've recovered well from being beaten 3-0 by Ireland in their last game. So I suppose it's a good fill-up for them as well. Netherlands are 2-1 up on Wales in the Netherlands. So still, Wales give a good account of themselves. And as you know, Wales qualified recently for the first time since 1958 for the World Cup, which will be held in Qatar this year at the end of the year in December, November, December. I wonder, will we be eating our Christmas dinner when the World Cup final will be played? It'll be a new sensation for all you soccer fans out there, I don't know. Now, obviously, you can email us in if you want to join in the discussion, and we're very delighted to have you in here in the studio. From next week, we'll have our usual panel and some extra guests as well on the SportsView for next Monday night. We'll have Joe and Chris and Martin and who else? Anna, if she's recovered, hope she was doing well. She's in hospital last week, so hopefully she'll be okay. Come back again to us soon, and we wish her well. Actually, Martin is doing a cycle at the moment, as we know, from Nantes to Lourdes, and a 420-mile cycle race for charity for the over there in France. So Martin Waters and Martin, we wish you well, and we want to see you back here in our own saddle, really, in the studio as well for this edition of SportsView. Obviously, I said the Euro draws were made as well for the different competitions today, and there were quite a few Irish clubs in them. But our under-21s had a possibility, although they were up against it really, because it's a very solid and talented Italian team, the under-21 Italian team, and they beat the Republic of Ireland this evening 4-1 in their final match in the group. But nevertheless, it was a very, very good showing by the Irish team, because they're actually into the playoffs. So we wish them well. Two-legged playoff, home and away. And, well, we wish them well to be the first time for them if they manage to qualify. And I hope they will, to be another fill-up for Irish soccer there, you know. And as I said, you can email us in at info@lairmedia.tv and tell all your friends about us and press the red button to subscribe to our channel. Please share it as well, you know. But we will be going live from now on, from next week, in all our programs, and including this one, SportsView. Now, in the Euro draws there today, early on, we had, Shamrock Rovers, who were the champions in the Champions League. They were in the preliminary draws, and they were drawn against Hibernians. When I saw the name first, I thought it was the Scottish team, Hibernian, but it's the Hibernian of Malta. They're in the preliminary draw. That's Shamrock Rovers against Hibernian of Malta, and we wish them well. Then in the Conference League, with Sligo Rovers were drawn against the Welsh team Bala Town, Bala, B-A-L-A, Bala Town. I must say I don't know anything about that team, Bala Town, but Sligo Rovers were drawn against them. And Derry City were drawn against Riga FC. Now, Riga FC are from Latvia, capital of Latvia, but I'll tell you, there'll be a handful for Derry. They'll be up against it. But we wish them well, you know, you don't know. Now, during the week that's just gone by, we had, what I can only say, a seismic shift in the position of golf in the world. Up to now, we had more or less two golf tournaments dominating golf in how the tournaments were run and organised and all of that. The PGA in America and the European Tour. Known today now as the DP World Tour, but to the European Tour. So that was it. You were either on one or the other, or you can, if you were successful enough, you could, I suppose, spend half the year in America and the other couple of months in Europe, as some of them do and continue to do so. But that's only for the chosen few who would be what we call in the top 50 or 60, or even the top 100. But LIV Golf was launched during the week with the CEO, Greg Norman. You remember Greg Norman, fantastic golf in his time. And of course, it's backed by Saudi Arabia government, I suppose, their financial end of it. And they've also recently, as you know, last year took over Newcastle United in the Premiership in England. And Eddie Howe was appointed manager to salvage their season, so to speak, because they were in relegation zone when Eddie Howe was looking after them, and they were one of the favourites to go on, but he managed to keep them up, which is, I tell you, a fantastic achievement for him. Solid manager, no fuss, does his job without any headlines, and he kept Newcastle in it, in the Premiership, and now we will wait and see what kind of team, what kind of panel of players can that money that's gone into the club and that is available to the club, how will that affect the club in the coming season in the Premiership? We'll have to wait and see. Now, also, as we know, the season is over. Man City were champions. They beat Liverpool by a point in the Premiership. Recently, they made a signing as well. Haaland from Borussia Dortmund, 22-year-old for 50 or 60 million. And Liverpool made a recent signing. They were favourites to sign him. Anyway, that was Nunes, 21 years of age striker from Portugal, from Benfica. And 70 million, I think, he cost them. And it'll be rising up to 100 million, depending on how many goals he scores and all of that. But there's still a lot of money available in British soccer. So the bubble doesn't seem to be burst there. And despite all the other things that are going on in society, like the cost of living and all of that, which is really prohibitive for an awful lot of people. Going back to the Live Golf, I watched it. It was streamed live on YouTube. I liked the layout. I liked the commentators. I just liked the whole setup. And I'm not saying that to be controversial. I'm saying that because I genuinely, as someone who was only a passing interest in golf, I mean, I do like the game. I did play it one time, but that's a long, long time ago. But I like the game and I like the format. Now, obviously, that will expand as more and more people will come on board because there is room. There is room in my mind, in my opinion, for this tool. There's no doubt about it, you know. And people who are outspoken on political and moral grounds, obviously, that's a serious matter. But I mean, this should not be hypocritical and knock individual golfers for joining the Live Golf Tour because there's Saudi money in it. After all, the World Cup of soccer is being held in Qatar, and their human rights record is absolutely abominable. How many people were killed during the building of the stadiums and all that? And you're going to have multimillionaires on the soccer teams in most countries lining out to play soccer matches. So look, let's bring a bit of proportionality into this. I am not an apologist for Saudi Arabia by any manner of means, or for the way they behave. Absolutely not, you know. But I'm just saying the Live Golf Tour is there. Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, just off the top of my head, Graham McDowell, Louis Oosthuizen, Charles Schwartzel, who won it. They'll all be lining up this week in America for the US Open in Brookline in America. So look, and they'll all, because look, for people who do not follow golf, the four majors in golf, that's the Masters, the USPGA, the US Open, and the British Open, are all run separately, separate competitions. So they're not under the auspices of the PGA at all. So all those golfers that took part in Live Golf will be lining up in Brookline. Of course, we have an interest. We have a couple of Irish lads. Shane Lowry, our own major winner, from Offaly, Shane Lowry, will be lining up in Brookline, of course, on Thursday. It begins on Thursday of this week. That's the 17th, I think, as far as I know, the 17th. He'd be lining up with Phil Mickelson and Louis Susan. I know it was done on purpose or not, but those are the two guys who are playing over the weekend on the Live Golf over in Hertfordshire in Britain. That's where they're selling in the club. And Derwin Honan, who's a regular panelist with us here on SportsView, and Derwin was explaining to us, and you can catch that program on our YouTube channels, the final whistle with the lads, and he explained about the course and all of that, and the layout of the course, and it's fantastic. And Derwin, of course, is over in Florida for the next 2 months. He's a very successful company himself, and a few more chaps. I'm just trying to think what his name, but I'll get it before the end of the program anyway. You know, it's just gone out of my head at the moment. But anyway, Shane Lowry is lining up with Phil Mickelson, Louis Susan. Seamus Power, our own Seamus Power from Waterford, is in the field as well, and he qualified during the year, Seamus Power. So he's playing with Joo Young Kim of Korea and Min Woo Lee of Australia, and they're lining up as well. That's Seamus Power with the two lads, and that's something to look forward to, I suppose. It'll be interesting to see how the lads who've competed this weekend in the Live Golf Tournament, we'll just see how they will get on. I don't know how they will. I have no idea. I hope they do well. We wish everybody well anyway. McIlroy, of course, Rory McIlroy is lining up as well. He's always favoured to win these competitions. That's Rory McIlroy. And Rory McIlroy was very, very outspoken in some of the press conferences during the week about the Live Golf setup. But then he won the Canadian Open, the RBC Canadian Open, just being held outside Toronto. And thank you, Mary. And indeed, thank you for that. Yeah, and that's my assistant. But Dragonfly Golf, getting back there, one of the lads. Dragonfly Golf, check it out, lads, and we wish them well. Dragonfly Golf, and that was Rory McIlroy won and Seamus Lowry, Shane Lowry was in as well. He had a very good finish as well, Shane Lowry, in that competition. So there you go. Now, as we're on air at this time, it's now, let me see what time it is. It's now coming up to 9:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time here in Ireland. And as I said, most of those soccer matches from the Nations League are still in going on. So we'll bring you the results of those before the program goes off air, you know. And as I said, tell all your friends about us. Press the red button on the right hand side to subscribe to our channel. And really and truly, you should tell all your friends about us. And look, we want you, the punter, you who have something to say. Please come on and please let us know. Give us your email if you want to come on. We'll send you the link, and all you have to do is press on the link, and hey presto, you're in, chatting away about your pet here, whatever's on your mind, sporting wise, on SportsView. And we'd be only too delighted to have you, of course. Now we're reaching. Here in Ireland, to just look at domestic matters for a few minutes, we're reaching the last 8 in our own Gaelic football championship here in Ireland, and there were 32 counties in the Republic in Ireland. There's 32 counties in Ireland, and of course they all entered the team in our Gaelic football competition, as well as New York had a team in as well, and London, and they had a team into it as well. So we had 34 teams. We're down to the last 8 of the teams. That is Dublin, Kerry, Galway, and Derry. And then there were 4 teams came through the others. Those 4 teams I mentioned, Dublin, Kerry, Galway, and Derry, they were the 4 provincial winners. There's a provincial competition in each. Not to confuse you completely, if you're looking from abroad. There's 4 provinces, and each of the provinces have their own competition, and there's a winner emerges from those provinces. And Kerry won Munster, Dublin won Leinster, Galway won Connacht, and Derry won Ulster. They came through. They had 4 provincial winners. Then all the other teams who were knocked out in the second and the final round, they entered what we call a qualifying competition, and 4 teams have emerged from that competition: Cork and Clare and Mayo and Armagh. And those four then were put in with the four provincial winners, and there was a draw made for them yesterday morning. And we had Kerry playing Mayo, Dublin will be playing Cork, Galway will be playing Armagh, and Derry will be playing Clare. They're in the quarterfinals of Gaelic football, and they will be on the weekend after next. But coming up this weekend are the quarterfinals of the Senior Hurling Championship, and indeed there's 6 teams left in that because there's only 2 provincials really held, and that's Munster and Ulster. And the 2 provincial winners are the current holders of the Lee McCarthy Cup. That's Limerick, and Limerick are through to one semi-final, and Kilkenny won the Leinster Championship, and they are in the other semi-final. Now, on the other side, on completely this weekend, Cork will face Galway in one quarter-final, and Clare will face Wexford in the other quarter-final. And the winners of those 2 matches will play Kilkenny and Limerick in the semi-finals proper then. But next weekend, I suppose, we can look forward to a feast of hurling because, in my opinion, there's very little between those 4 teams, if you follow my drift. That is, I'm thinking that Cork and Galway are fairly evenly matched, and I think that it's on the day, I know it's an old cliche, on the day the team who turns up put their life on the line, as I say, and put their bodies in the way will prevail. But it's going to be very tough for the team that'll lose, there's no doubt about that. Cork, just looking at Cork, I'm from Cork myself, I might as well tell you that I am. Cork, of course, had a disastrous start to the championship proper this year in the senior hurling. They were well beaten by Limerick in the first match. There are other words I use, but they were well out of it. Then when they came to the second game against Clare, they were well beaten. And so I suppose just to tell you, in Munster, obviously the Munster finalists, the winners and the runner-up are automatically through to the next round. And then there was a third team, a spot available for them to play in a preliminary quarter-final. So that's what Cork were looking for in their third match. Now, believe it or not, the third match for Cork in the championship was away to Waterford, in Waterford. And Waterford were tipped to come through out of Munster with Limerick because of their early form champion. But Cork went down to Waterford with nothing to lose. Only times that happened to teams. And indeed, they put up a fantastic performance, must hand it in, an absolute fantastic performance. And really, I mean, there was always an understanding that they had quite a few talented hurlers on the team, but we often wondered, was there what we call a soft belly to those players, or what happened? But anyway, what happened against Waterford was sensational from a Cork point of view. They won the match convincingly. And so consequently, in the meantime, Tipperary were the last opponents for Cork in the round robin series of matches. And at that stage, Clare had drawn with Limerick, so Clare were unbeaten. So they had drawn with Limerick in their last game. So Clare and Limerick were already through to the Munster final. So those 2 teams were already gone through. So the last game between Tipperary and Cork, it was a winner take all. Because whoever won that were in third place. Anyway, no, sorry. Waterford had the last game against Clare, I beg your pardon, so there was something in it. Waterford and Clare and Cork and Tip were the last 2 games in the round robin. Just thinking my brain matter is going to sleep. But anyway, in the last 2 games in the round robin then, Cork absolutely annihilated Tipperary, so that was it. Now, if Waterford had won and had on the same points as Cork, Cork would still go through because he had beaten Waterford in the head-to-head. But as it transpired anyway, Clare won that game against Waterford. So Cork got in to the second round of the Senior Hurling Championship in third place. And so Limerick and Clare went through and Cork out of Munster. Then there were a preliminary quarterfinal. There's another competition for the hurling in Ireland called the Joe McDonagh Cup for second-tier teams. that allows them to at least play at teams that are of their own standard and a little bit above maybe, and help encourage hurling in places like Antrim and Carlow, Kerry, and really, and Down and places like that. So, and Offaly, of course, who were one of the top tier teams not so long ago, but Offaly it didn't come through the Joe McDonagh Cup. So the Joe McDonagh Cup was contested by Kerry and Antrim. A cracking game, a huge, high-scoring game, and Antrim prevailed. And indeed, Antrim then had a home advantage. They played Cork in the preliminary quarter-final, and Clare played Wexford. No, who the Wexford played I forget who they played now. Kerry, I beg your pardon. Wexford played Kerry in the preliminary quarter-final. Wexford had a relatively enough easy victory over Kerry in Tralee, but Kerry and Antrim had home advantage, which was already decided beforehand anyway. So Antrim played Cork in Corrigan Park in Belfast. I know it plays pretty well, and you know, it's what can I say. Cork were on a high into nothing. Cork were expected to win the match, and that can be against. And at halftime, Cork were behind by 2-12 to 2-11. They're behind by a point at halftime. Not there was a strong breeze, but there was a strong breeze for both teams. As I say, you're playing against it or for it with it. Anyway, that's no excuse really. Anyway, Cork really won by 11 or 12 points in the end, and they went through to the quarter final to meet Galway next weekend in a doubleheader in Thurles, and Clare will be playing Wexford. I would say probably that Clare will beat Wexford, although Wexford will not be pushovers. They have improved. They have, just like Cork have, they have improved as the competition went on. So it will be a very, very tough game. But I would say that Clare should have enough to come through, although there's a possibility of two of their marquee players being suspended for one match. That's Rory Hayes and Peter Duggan. But as we are on here tonight, I've heard nothing yet, and it'll probably be decided tomorrow, I think, or Thursday. But anyway, there's a hearing about it. But look, we wish them well. We don't want to see any players being denied these games, and then as they come to the end of the championship. But I'd say Clare will still have enough to beat Wexford. So the Cork Galway match will be on the day, and I'm not hedging my bets because I'm Corkman. I'll want Cork to win, obviously. I might as well put my colours to the mast. But I think they should. If they play up to form, and there's always a possibility. I mean, they have a few players out injured, and if the three players out injured that they mentioned today and reading papers are out, there will be a big loss, you know. I mean, Sean O'Donoghue will be a big loss at the back for Cork if he's not fit to play. You know, Darragh Fitzgibbon is out about him as well if he's not fit to play. So look, young Kingston, Shane Kingston got a knock as well. So look, at least we'll have Jack O'Connor come in there, or Patrick Horgan, and so we're not too bad there for cover in the forward line, but the backs are vital. But anyway, we'll see. Maybe Tim O'Mahony might be drafted back into the backs again. I don't know. Tim will play anyway for you anyway. Fair play, Tim. We look forward to that next week, quarterfinals of the. I'm not going to give you all the permutations. Obviously, if Cork beat Galway, they'll play Kilkenny. They'll play Limerick in the semi-final, because if Clare beat Wexford, they can't play Limerick again till the final. So Clare will be playing Kilkenny in the other semi-final. On the other hand, if Wexford and Galway win, you know, that'll be it. But obviously, if Cork and Clare win, it'll be Cork Limerick and Clare Kilkenny in the semi-final. So look, there's still a lot of hurling to be done before we reach that. Now, SportsView is the program here on our YouTube channel, SportsView, and we're streaming live tonight. Just a little test for people to get used to us. Press the red button on the right hand side to subscribe to our channel and tell all your friends about us. We will be going live from next week on our SportsView YouTube channel, hopefully. If not, we'll go back to our normal YouTube channel, but we'll let you know that in plenty of time. The link for the show is available if you send us our email and you want to participate and in that. Now, before we finish tonight, we also have the squad was announced today. the rugby squad was announced today for their tour of New Zealand coming up next month. I'm not going to read them all out for you because obviously, there's a couple of new caps in the field and all this. There's 18 backs and 22 forwards, which makes up a total of 40 players going on tour to New Zealand against the All Blacks. They're going to play 3 tests against the All Blacks, which I think is great. I hope he makes up the team for those 3 tests because many of those players will need, to compete against. They are still a formidable force, the All Blacks. They are still considered one of the best rugby teams in the world. So let's be fair to them, and they are, And on the 29th of June, now all the matches on the tour will be televised, will be shown live at 8:05 a.m. in the morning. So they're all on at the same time. And on the 29th of June, they'll be playing the Maori All Blacks on the 29th of June. On the 2nd of July, then, will come the first test against the All Blacks. On the 9th of July will be the second test against the All Blacks. So by then we will know whether we're in the game or not, because obviously if the All Blacks win the first 2 tests, then they have the series won. But if it's just 1-1, which would be great, the next match for the Irish gang then will be on the 12th of July. They'll be playing the Maori All Blacks again, and then they'll find the final 3rd test against the All Blacks will be on the 16th of July. And as I said, they're all being shown at 8:05 a.m. in the morning. So a nice breakfast and a bit of rugby and a bit of fun. We wish them well. Obviously, I mean, there's 5 new caps. I forgot to write down the thing. You can find them on the various websites, on the RT Sport website or on the BBC Sport website. You get all the names, all the information. That look, it's something to look forward to in July. And I was just dipping into tennis today. Because the grass court, the next Grand Slam up is Wimbledon, which traditionally is considered probably one of the best run Grand Slams of them all. And we would say that being from this side of the pond. But nevertheless, I think it has an atmosphere all of its own. Fantastic atmosphere. Hopefully, this year, the WTA has banned Russian and Belarusian players from competing at Wimbledon, which is a shocking indictment to me, Sports and politics should never mix. And the highest of virtue signalling by the Wimbledon authorities, and it has no place in sport. But nevertheless, to be shorn of a lot of players now to compete in Wimbledon. And Djokovic obviously will be the top seed to prevail in the men's side of the draw. We just heard this evening that Serena Williams, the great Serena Williams, has been given a wild card into the women's side, obviously, of the draw. Now, she hasn't played much tennis in the last 12 months. She's 40 years of age. She's on 23 Grand Slams. Obviously, she's eyeing up at 24th, which would equal that wonderful Margaret Court. I mean, Margaret Court was a magnificent tennis player. People should read about her, get to know about her. She's a fantastic player. 24 Grand Slams. She straddled both the open era and the closed era, so really Margaret Court. And obviously, when you read about Margaret Court, as I did myself, she won doubles as well and mixed doubles. So look, she was just an all-round fantastic competitor. But Serena, we wish her well. I don't know how far she'll go in the competition. It's unlikely that she'll win it, but stranger things have happened. And you have 7 or 8 British women in the open draw lining up there as well. I was watching the grass court tournament. The Queen's Club was on today, and Nottingham is being held, the grass court tournament for women as we speak. And in the first round, Dan Evans was succumbed to Matteo Berrettini. Haven't they fantastic names in Italy? Matteo Berrettini beat on straight set 6-3, 6-3. But it doesn't tell the whole story because we were watching the second set, a bit of it. And Evans competed well. But Berrettini is a class act. Berrettini would be, he's been in the final in Wimbledon. People shouldn't forget that. He's played with injury, but he's back now playing well. He won a competition, the Mercedes Cup, where he beat Andy Murray in the final. So, in the thing, and now he's warming up here before Wimbledon. So I'd say Berrettini might be worth an outside bet for people who into that kind of thing for Wimbledon. who knows? We wish him well. We wish them everybody well. They'll stay healthy. That's Wimbledon coming up in a couple of weeks' time, week and a half's time. So, and as I said, you can catch all the tennis on the BBC because we're showing them live and on Eurosport as well, I think. But you can look it up there. Anyway, that's the Grand Slam. Of course, Novak Djokovic would be a favourite. I don't know. Will Nadal compete? It's unlikely that he will, because I mean, obviously he won Roland Garros, but really it was fast because farcical. The final was terrible because not terrible because of Nadal, just terrible because Zverev. Nadal won the first set 7-6. Zverev won himself for 6-all in the second set, and Zverev had a terrible injury going over in his ankle, and he's torn 5 ligaments or something in his ankle, which is akin to breaking, a break. It's terrible, but anyway. And so obviously Nadal won the final, but nobody wants to win a final like that. But they all count. They all count. It's his 14th Roland Garros title, and of course it has taken its toll on Nadal, the clay, all those clay matches, because there's no give and play. There's some buoyancy when you're playing in Wimbledon because you're playing on grass. There's some give in the ground, but the toll on your muscles and all of that. I mean, sensational player. One of the greatest players of all time. There's no doubt about that. That's Rafael Nadal. Love to see him in Wimbledon, but I would. My own opinion is I'd say it's very, very, very unlikely that he's going to compete. I don't know, but it's very unlikely. I think, by the way, his body language and the way he's speaking of Roland Garros, we may not see him again. I mean, Federer has effectively retired without announcing that. I don't know. I could be jumping the gun. I don't know that, but and there's only Andy Murray, of course. And when I got into that final there recently on grass against Berrettini, Andy Murray is entered the Wimbledon as well. So don't know if he was fully fit. He'd fancy his chances on grass as well. If he's fully fit, I'm saying just there you go. We won't see Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, just 3 sensational players together in the one era again, will we? Love to see it, but we don't know. Look, we look forward to Wimbledon. And as I said, strawberries and cream all the way in Wimbledon. Press the red button to subscribe to our channel. SportsView is the show and the channel. And we will be coming to you live now from next week. And tell all your friends about us. And we'll have our usual suspects back next Monday night at the beginning of the program, a panel. And then after that, we'll stay on the air a couple of hours and discussing whatever sports are on for the day. I don't know what they'll be, but we hope you will join us. We want you to join us. We want you to interact with us. We want you to speak with us in the studio. If you have a comment to make or a discussion you'd like to participate in, please join in and let us know by sending us your email, and we will send you the link, and you come into the studio and it's nice friendly chat with a bit of fun, and there you go. You could be a star. You'll never know who's in the background, who's waiting to emerge into the stratosphere of sports stardom. I don't know. Dragonfly Golf, Derwin's company, Dragonfly Golf, Derwin. We'll tune in with Derwin Honan next week, and with Chris Price and Joe Waters, Martin Waters, and Anna Moore. Hope you're healthy now next Monday. Take care, lads. So from this edition of SportsView, hope you enjoyed it. Until we meet again, take care and good night, and good sporting participation and good viewing.